Good morning, good Saturday morning, good people. I can't believe, first of all, I cannot believe that it has been a whole month already. It does not feel like a whole month. Like time has
Right?
gone by so fast that it's like crazy. But I'm glad that I decided to do this monthly and not weekly because
Oh my goodness.
it would. But good morning, everybody. It is your girl Shanae M. Artist. And today, this is our second episode of Kingdom Conversations. We are back with another discussion. I am so excited about this. Always excited to chat and have good quality conversations with people. Conversations that we hope to be transformational, mind renewing, just impactful to those that listen and engage. So thank everybody that's joining us today. Live or those that are going to be joining us on the replay. I do ask real quick that you would share this video, that you would feel free to comment and all that kind of stuff. We learned how to check the comments today during the live, so we will be able to see your comments and engage that way as we're chatting. But again, thank you. Share, like, all that good stuff. All right. So I have my girl back, Rashonda B, because I just love talking to her, and we just always seem to have some really good conversations.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And some really deep. I am not a small talk person. Like, I don't like just surface level stuff. It really irks me, and it makes me not want to talk to people anymore. Right?
I know, right? That irks me, yeah.
Yeah, but when I find somebody that I can have some really deep and valuable conversations with, it just warms my heart. So thank you for joining me again for another Kingdom conversation. Not just any old, but this is Kingdom, okay?
We're talking about the Lord here.
We're talking about the Lord, yes, Kingdom conversations. And so today we wanted to talk about, the title is that your person? And so Rashonda had a conversation with somebody else, and then her and I had a conversation, and just kind of wanted to come and just chat, because as we are both single women and we know other single women who are dating, we know this current dating world is crazy, okay? And so
what do you call it, right?
Yeah, like, and a lot of times we know people that's getting caught up in situations that are not for them, that things are happening to them in these dating relationships that shouldn't be. And so just wanted to share some tips that we've learned and experienced and have gotten throughout our own experiences around dating and around determining whether or not somebody is your person. And we don't just mean that in a sense of like, your person for the moment, but like really your person or not. Okay.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm going to let you kick it off with your story that you had shared with me, and then we can kind of just go from there.
Yes. So first of all, thank you again for having me again, girl. Like I said, we always have something to talk about, right?
Yes.
But so I was talking to a co-worker, and she began to tell me, about her and her husband being married for like 17 years. They were celebrating their 17th year anniversary. So I was like, congratulations. But in this conversation, she began to talk about like the friends that they have now. They've been friends for like years, even before marriage. And she was telling me about this one couple. She was like, yeah, she said, they were together for a long time. She said about 4 years. She said, and the woman wanted marriage. For 4 years, she was asking this man about marriage. He kept saying no. Okay, like the Destiny Child song. But no. But he kept saying no. And she was like, okay, maybe he's just not ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna stick around, until he gets ready, right? The 4th year into their relationship, he breaks it off with her. The thing is, he broke it off with her, met somebody, married that person 6 months later. The crazy thing about this is my coworker told me, he told her he knew that he did not want to marry her from the beginning. So the thing is that why stick around with her for 4 years if you knew that you did not have the mindset, or you did not want to be married from the get-go, you know? So it's like, you not only wasted your time, you wasted her time, because this woman was thinking, okay, we're gonna get married, this is my one, this is my person, you know, and whatever. 4 years in, you knew she wasn't the person to begin with, and then you break it off, meet somebody, marry them, and get this, the person he met and married, they still married today. They've been married for 10 years.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So that's why I came to you with that conversation, and that's the basis of this talk today. Yeah. Is that your person? Like, how do you know if that's your person or not? Because, you know, you have to be intentional going in, and we'll get into that. But that's what it's all about.
That's a lot to unpack, but I'm gonna just say, first of all, we need, because I want you, if I have this conversation, I want you to be a part of it too. But we need a good, godly man to come on the show and have a conversation with us about men be knowing. Men be knowing. I don't care what nobody say. I feel like men know who they want, when they want. In that context, like, not just like for a sexual relationship or for, you know, a little fling. I'm talking about men know who they really want to see themselves with. And so for him, first of all, that was just wrong on so many levels. To along for 4 years. And then, you know what I mean? But when we talked about it, and even when I just heard you replay that conversation to me again, it just made me think, why did she stick around for that long? Why did she allow herself to be in a relationship with somebody that you're begging to marry you for 4 years? And I'm not doing this I'm not asking this question from a place of judgment, because I understand that as human beings, we only do what we can with what we have, right?
We want to be loved.
And obviously there's feelings involved and all of that kind of stuff. You know, homegirl must have been blinded in some way. So I'm not judging her, but I'm just saying that, to me, is why I feel like it's important for us to know and to pay attention from the gate before we get ourselves so entwined with people that we allow them to string us along, men or women. You know what I mean? When they have no intentions on moving forward with us. So I was listening to R.C. Blake's. Have you ever heard of it? Okay. Yes. So I was listening to something. My friend had shared some stuff with me about him a while ago, and I was listening to it, and it just came to mind. He said he's an older man, and he was saying how him and his wife had dated for a little while, like a couple years, and then she wound up breaking up with him because she wanted to be married. She wanted commitment from him. He wasn't at that place where he was ready. So instead of her sticking around and waiting for him, she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go do me, right? And if and when you're ready, come find me. And if I'm available, then maybe I'll see what we can do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And he said that really let him know, or helped him realize, that she was the one for him or whatever, and that he intentionally got himself together. And when he did get back, she started dating somebody else and like literally had moved on with her life. And once he did get himself together, however they got back together, whatever. Now, that's not going to be everybody's story, right?
That's true.
But the point was, she didn't sit around waiting for him to get prepared to want to be with her or to want to commit to her. She got herself together and moved on because she recognized that at that time, he was not her person, because they were not in alignment. So with that being said, like, from hearing the situation with your friend, and even from the just experiences that you have in dating, like, how do you know when somebody is not for you? Because I know there are things that I'm like, that ain't it. And people are like, oh, why don't you just give them a chance? Because I already know it ain't it. There is no chance because there is no chance, you know? So what are some things that let you know that somebody is just not it for you?
First of all, and this would be my suggestion, because I have to do this too. you have to write down what you want before you get into the dating pool. Like before you, like if you know that, okay, I'm ready to start dating again, write down what you want and stick to it, because that's where I failed at in a lot of my dating attempts. It was like in my head, I knew what I wanted, but then when somebody came along and they showed interest, I kind of just took a back seat because this person was, you know, they was interested, and I was ready to date, I thought, and so I wanted to give them an opportunity. But I feel like you have to write down what you want and stick to your guns with that. If you know you don't want someone, if you know you are practicing purity, not having sex, if you're celibate, and if you meet someone who they don't believe in that, they're not on that road, you can tell them, well, hey, I'm not all about that. That's not my life right now. I'm not doing that. But if you know that they're doing that, why would you stick with them and that's not what you want to do? Right. So, but most of the times what I would do is they would say that's not what they want to do. And I'm like, well, but they're interested. Maybe they'll change if I just, you know, because I'm this way, you know, and whatever. But it never changed because they told you. Maya Angelou has a quote, and it's one of my favorites. When a person show you who they are, or they tell you who they are, you better believe them. So you know, it's just they already done said from the beginning what it is. And that's not gonna change unless they want to change. So. That's what I would suggest. Write down what you want, because I failed in that attempt many times. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted a godly man, but the man came along. He ain't read the Bible in 5 years. But you know, you still going, you still pressing on.
Right.
You know, because you
want to read my Bible. You want to read my Bible.
Right. I'll share my Bible with you. You know, let's.
To try to make him into, I'm
trying to make them into what I want, but they like, no, sis, I'm telling you who I am. You know, if you choose to get in with me anyway, that's your fault.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, and this is not like a men versus women thing at all, but I think that men might be a little more, in my experience, I feel like men might be a little more firm in their things. Like, they will know that I don't want X, Y, I don't want to get married, or I don't want a relationship even. You know what I mean? But it's usually, from what I've seen, it's the women that are trying to make them change that. You know what I mean? Like, make men change what they want so that they are what they want. And it's like, no, if the person just ain't it, he just ain't it. You know, I think we as women too have to get firm in our resolve in that as well. Like, listen, you're not it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but you're not it. You know what I mean? But I like that whole be aware, making a list is really about being aware of what it is that you want in a person.
Yes.
And keeping in mind that we're not talking about flings or anything like that. Like, we're talking about long-term marriage relationships, being aware of what you want in a person and knowing that from the gate. Because if you don't know, I have like this motto: if you don't know what you want, you will settle for anything.
Yes.
Because anything could come your way and you'll just accept it because you have no idea what it is that you're really looking for. So you'll be like, oh, let me try that. Oh, let me try that. Like, and I think I did this maybe like 3 years ago. I made a list of what I want in a mate. And the funniest thing about it is because before I made the list, what I was thinking of was mostly physical features and attributes and things like that. But once I really sat down and thought about what I wanted, I realized there were characteristics in a person that was so much more important to me that my list is more so full of that than it is looks. Looks are on there, but it's not as much as on the surface I thought it was when I initially thought about making the list. So writing that list is really important because I know one of the things for me, I will say, is I need to know that the person that I'm dealing with, I can be safe with. Safety is huge. You know what I mean? Because of my childhood, because of my past and everything, safety is so important to me. And I mean like physical safety, emotional safety. Like I just need to know that you are a safe space for me to be me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if I engage with a person, it don't take long for me to realize if you're safe or not. And if I engage with you and I feel like you are not a safe space for me, it cannot happen, because you will never see me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to show up because I don't feel safe enough to do that. And so being aware, I think, is really important. But also a lot of times when they talk about the list, because you have like some people that feel like the list is, oh, don't write a list, throw out your list, you're being too picky, da 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 da. I don't subscribe to that mindset. I'm for having an understanding of what I want. And I totally forgot where I was going. Go ahead.
Well, you gotta have a blueprint.
I lost it.
It's fine. You gotta have a blueprint. Basically.
Yes.
The blueprint is important. People that build houses, they're not gonna just go out there on some land and just start building. Right?
It's a scripture about that too. That talks about paying attention and really sitting down and looking at what you got and making sure that you have enough to do what it is that you're trying to do.
I'm telling you, you gotta have that blueprint. They gotta have blueprints before they build that house. They gotta know the dimension. So if that's true for that, just think about it in your personal life, right? For your relationships and stuff. That blueprint has to be there, because you got to know. Now, I've heard people say, well, throw out your list and da 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 da. And I think that's for, like you said earlier, if your list is more physical. He has to be tall, dark, and handsome. He has to have the $100,000 income. You know, he got to have big feet. You know, he gotta do this. You know, so I think that's what I think that's what they mean when they say throw out your list. Like, sis, he not gonna be Denzel Washington, Will Smith, or Morris Chestnut coming in on a white horse. You know, so be whoever God decides to send your way, you have to throw out your list of what you think you want, the Morris Chestnut, and then accept what God brings to you. I think that's what that means. But as far as having a list of characteristics, like you said, of what I want a man with character. And I realized the other day, I want a man that knows how to submit his flesh unto God and fasting. Yeah. You know, because if you say you believe in God and we're together and I'm telling you I'm fasting, but we've been together for 6 months and you ain't never fasted, like to me, that's a problem. Right. You know, so I realized that the other day. I want a man that knows how to surrender his flesh unto God. He knows how to fast. That's important to me. I realized that. Right. So the list is important.
The list is important. And what I was going to say that I lost and I got back was that the list, I think, also helps us realize what work we need to do in becoming the person that we desire. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, if I'm not a safe space for somebody, I can't expect them to be a safe space for me. You know what I mean? Yes. So the list is like not only saying who I desire, but also who I need to be in order to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it is going to be the same. Like, that person is going to need from me the same thing that I'm wanting it from them. And you know, the crazy thing about it is because this is where kingdom and culture kind of don't. This is another area where kingdom and culture are in opposition from one another, because culture says that you could be living with your mother and, you know what I mean, but out here seeking a woman or a man that makes 6 figures. Yeah. Or you could be renting, but you want a woman or a man that has their own property. You know what I mean? Like, culture says that, and sometimes a lot of times it's with women versus men. Like, women don't really have much going for themselves, but they want a man that has all the money, all the, you know, all the things. You want a man with a nice car, with a nice job, with a lot of money, nice bank account, good credit. But sis, you have none of that, or only some of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that's where the kingdom and the culture are in opposition with each other. And we have to know as kingdom people, when we talk about making a list of what it is that we want from somebody else, that we are willing to become that ourselves first. You know what I mean? Not expecting this person to show up that you're not even on the same level as them, because you're not even like them at all. So, all right. Well, I will say, so being aware of what you want and, you know, writing that thing out. I think one of the things for me, and knowing if that is your person, for me, and knowing if that is my person or not, is knowing whether or not our morals and our values are in alignment with each other. And that's really important, because that, again, that's where kingdom and culture are in opposition. Culture says, you know, no matter what you believe, no matter what culture you come from, no matter what your faith background, nothing, you could just be with anybody and figure it out. And for me, that's not the case. Like, I need to know that we at least have, you know, a lot of the similar
things, right,
things that we value are similar. Right. Like, I can't be valuing family and you value money. You know what I mean? Because then we're going to constantly have a conflict, because I'm really upholding the things that I value, which is spending time with my family and all of that. And you out there trying to hold up the things that you value, which is your job and making money. Neither one of us are bad in what we value. It's just that it's not the same. So therefore, we're always going to have a conflict. And so I wouldn't want to ask somebody, change your values to be with me. And I'm not going to change my values to be with you. So if we don't value the same things, then maybe this is not, you know what I mean, going to work. It's like a red flag. Like, I feel like it's, for me, I feel like it's kind of a red flag if we have differing morals and values.
Well, the Bible says where your heart is, there where your heart is, there your treasure will be also. So it's about figuring out where that person's heart truly is. And if their heart is on, I was just telling somebody this the other day, and this was years ago. I had someone to ask me, Rashonda, do you value sanity? Would you rather have sanity or money? And I was like, I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, I'd rather have sanity, you know, and whatever. I said, 'cause peace. And she told me, she said, well, girl, you can always find peace. It's about money for me. And do you know, since she said that, she has been, it's like every time I look around, she's on another job. She chasing that money. She chasing that money, because that's where her heart was. She expressed her heart. Her heart was about chasing that money. So where her treasure is, her treasure was the money. That's where her heart was. So she was like, and honey, she has wore herself out trying to chase that dollar. Whereas I have had peace on my job. And yes, I have gotten some raises and things, but guess what? I got peace. I'm not worried, because my treasure and my heart is in God. So, you know, so it's about where that person's heart is. If their heart is in that dollar, then then we ain't gonna, no. Because I ain't about chasing the dollar. I'm about chasing God, who has the money,
the dollar,
and give it to me.
And I think it's important to highlight that morals and values being in alignment is so important. I think because that just kind of shapes our viewpoints. It shapes how we live our lives. It shapes our decision making. Like, those, our morals and our values are truly, truly a part of like who we are as people. That's why that's something that for me, I'm not willing to compromise on, because at the end of the day, my values are my values. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not going to become one. You know what I mean? And I'm probably not going to lay up with one either. Okay. So, you know, and I just use that because I know that is a real easy example of, you know, different values or whatever.
Different
But
views.
yeah, like it's just that's super important to me. What's another for me also being a believer, beliefs and faith is really important. I don't
Yes.
expect someone to be perfect in their faith because I'm not. But I do desire, or I know that my person will share the same faith as me. We don't have to agree on every aspect of Christianity, but I know that my person will also be a Christian because God, Jesus, Christianity, the practices, those are what I live by. You know what I mean? And that's who I'm accountable to. And that's who I trust will lead and guide my husband as well. And so if my husband is not accountable to my Heavenly Father, then it's like, well, who you account? I don't know your father.
Yeah, that's a look. Let me skip my tea. That's a red flag.
Right, that's a whole red flag. I don't know them. I don't trust them, and I don't trust them to lead me, and I don't trust you either. So you know what I mean. So yeah, faith is a really important aspect, and I think sometimes, you know, as humans and as people who we're getting a little bit older, feeling like our clock is ticking, time
that's
is
culture.
Away. That's one culture. That's one of those areas where people will be willing to kind of like compromise on, like, oh, well, you're not, you know, he's a believer, but he don't go to nobody church. And it's not all about going to physical church, but he don't go to nobody church. He don't read nobody Bible. He can't tell you no scripture. You know what I mean? Like his life does not reflect that of someone who is a believer. You know, he doesn't have the fruit to prove it, but because he said it, then that's enough. And it's like, nah, I need a little bit more than that. I need to see this like lived out in your life, you know, and not when we go out to eat, I'm like, oh, let's say grace, but no, you taking the lead on, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things, because you do that anyway. So you're not just doing it because I'm here.
Yeah, I think, and that is true. What I've come to realize is that people's relationship with God, their actions, like you just said, is totally different. Because I've had a relationship before where they said they believed in God and they loved talking about the Lord and all this stuff, and it was a good conversation with them because they like talking about God. I'm like, yes, but while they like talking about God, it was just some things that I would tell them. I was like, God been dealing with me about this. God been dealing with me and telling me this, and that. And then they will always combat that. Well, you sure God said that? Well, I don't know if God would tell you, you know, something like that. And I'm like, and it had me kind of thinking like, did God really say? You know, questioning my belief. Yeah. Right. Instead of saying, well, hun, hey, if God told you that, hey, you do what God tell you, you know, and hey, I'll be with you. I'll be praying with you, you know, and whatever. But it was always combative. Like, well, I don't know if God told you that. Well, are you sure? You know, and whatever. And I'm like, but you said you were a believer. Now they said they were a believer, but they also believed in having sex, you know, and stuff like that. So it's like
they were flexible. Okay.
Yeah, they were flexitarian when it came to the Lord. So, you know, it was just like, yeah, I love talking about him. I believe I pay my tithes and offering, but yet I love doing these other things too. So yeah, their morals with the Lord was all over the place. So you really have to check people when they say, oh, I got a relationship with God. Oh, okay, well, when was the last time you fasted?
Right.
When was the last time you read the Bible, a devotional, stuff, you know? And then a lot of times you don't even have to ask that. Their actions will tell you.
Will tell you, absolutely. That's what you need to pay attention to. I mean, ask the questions, yes, but I think paying attention to the actions, like I said, do they initiate certain practices that someone that would be initiated by someone who practices it on their own? You know? Yeah. Wow. All right. So morals, values, and basically faith being in alignment. So first of all, is that your person? Number one, being aware of what you want and sticking to it. That's one of the ways to know. Have a list. have an idea of who it is that you want. And if that person doesn't line up with what it is that you're saying that you want or you need in order to be the best version of yourself in a relationship, then ain't your person. Number two, if your morals, your values, and your beliefs don't align with one another, don't try to make somebody become who it is that you make somebody become someone that lines up with your morals, values, and beliefs, or be willing to compromise your morals, values, and beliefs to be with somebody. Like, if you have to do that in a relationship, that is not your person. I don't believe God will send you somebody that will make you compromise your faith in him or question your faith in him. Like, that don't even sound right, you know?
He ain't gonna send you nobody like that. Somebody that's going to draw you away from him.
Right.
That ain't God. That's the enemy.
That ain't. So yeah, anybody that makes you compromise in those areas instead of build you up and help you become a better version of yourself in those areas, I would say is not your person. You had another one. You had a comment. We got two more. You had a comment about making known your desires from the gate. And I guess that could kind of tie into being aware of what you want, but it can also stand on its own, because I think sometimes as people, we don't always say what we want from the jump. We tend to like to find out what the other person wants in a person and then try to become that. Right. And it's like, no, we can't do that. We need to know what it is that we want, and then we need to be willing to express that. And if that person is not that, then know that that's not your person.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. What you think?
Well, I think that's true. The thing is, you did so much work on yourself, you know, because you mentioned this way earlier. You have to know who you are first.
Yeah.
That's the first work before you get or you decide that you want to get into a relationship with anybody. Go before God, seek God about who you are, you know, and work on those layers that you got, you know, because hey, some of us still got some layers going on. Some of us still got some daddy issues. Right. Some of us still got some daddy issues. We got some anger issues.
For sure.
We got, you know, jealousy issues and anger and all the bitterness and all these other things. Let God work on you with that, because that's not going to be healthy if you take it into a relationship. So that's first, work on you. Then when you figure out who you are, then you can be able to identify what type of person you want based on, hey, I did this work. I know for a fact I don't want nobody that has anger. I don't want nobody that has anger issues. I don't want nobody that has temperamental issues. I want somebody that loves the Lord and all this other type of stuff. So yeah, you have to make it known. If you're practicing celibacy, you're not having sex, don't take that off the table because you with this person 3 months and he seemed like he might be good, and so you go on. No, that's until marriage. But you have to be intentional and just let a person know. If you're there's two things with dating for intention and dating because I'm just to be dating. If you're dating with intention, I feel like there are certain questions and things that person needs to know up front. Look, I'm not trying to just date just to be dating. I'm dating with intent. I'm looking to be married, you know, whatever. And then there are certain questions you'll ask with that. Because if I'm dating with intention, I don't want to know what your favorite color is. I'm not, you know, we're not going to spend all day talking about what your favorite color, what you like to eat, and all this stuff. I need to know, like, hey, what do you think about marriage? You know, what do you think about having children if you don't have kids? How's your relationship with God? Do you believe in counseling? That type of stuff. Now, if you just dating just to be dating, you ain't gonna really put no effort into it. Then that's where, what's your favorite color? What you like to do, you know, and whatever. So
what type of woman do you want? What type of man do you want?
Yeah. So that's when you kind of get into that thing of meshing yourself to be who they want, you know. And that dating for sport, that can go into a whole nother arena because y'all attracted to one another and all this other type of stuff. Next thing you know, y'all at each other's house. So that can go a whole nother way. Whereas dating with intention, no, I'm preserving myself. I'm keeping myself for something greater. You know, you just might not be that person. So I want to figure it out, you know, because I don't want to waste. I don't have time to waste.
Yeah. But not only figuring that out, I think also, like you said, is just being confident enough in who you are, what it is that you're looking for, that you're able to communicate up front. This is what, you know what I mean? This is what I desire, and being firm in that, not allowing somebody to show you, because this goes back to the story you said about your friend. Being confident in that and not allowing somebody to string you along. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you're clearly aware. And that's boldness. And that's where, you know, certain people get titles like, oh, they bougie, or oh, they're this and oh, they're that. No, sis just knows what she wants and she's not settling. Period. You know what I mean?
That's it.
She knows what she's looking for, and she knows that you're not it. Or, you know, oh, he lost the best thing that ever happened to him. Well, obviously not, because you are not his best. He's still looking for it.
Right.
Like, no, he didn't. You know,
he married it.
Yeah, right. Because that it kills me when people break up and they like, oh yeah, he lost the best thing that ever happened to him. No, he didn't. No, she didn't, because you weren't the best. That's why they're going to find somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, let's stop acting like we're the gift to every person. We're not the gift to every person. That is a gift to each person, but not every person are we a gift to them. Some people we are bad for.
Yeah. Right.
So stop that. But yeah, so making your desires known from the gate, being confident in who you are, confident in what it is that you want, and confident enough to make it known to the person. Stop playing with people and stringing them along. It ain't right. My friend said this. My friend Janine said this one day. She had, dang, I probably shouldn't have said her name, but whatever. Well, her and I had this conversation about something that had happened, and she made a good point. She said, even if that person is not for me or not for you, he is for somebody. Treat him well. And I was like, that is such a loving and kind and kingdom way of dealing with people in like a dating capacity. Like, even if that person is not for you, still treat them well. You know what I mean? Just don't throw people to the trash. Don't be nasty and mean to them, but just let them know. Be honest. You know what I mean? Don't string them along and take them through this whole thing when you know that you have no intentions on dealing with them in the long term. Stop playing with people. People are so fragile right now. Like now, people are so fragile. People don't have the mental capacity to take people playing games with them. Like, don't do that. If you know that somebody is not for you or you are not for somebody, be honest about that up front and let these people go on about their life.
I'm so glad that Janine mentioned that, because you know, just the other day I was telling the Lord to clear my heart of any spot, wrinkles, or blemishes that are in my heart. That, you know how sometimes, let me just say it like this. You know how when we approach God, everything is clear. He don't see what we were, what we did, the mistakes we made, and all that stuff. He sees us as a clean, clear person. Kind of like the prodigal son when he got back with the father. He didn't care about what he had done. It was just, my son is home. And that's how God sees us. Hey, that's my child. Wait a minute. That's my child, Shanae. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Let me see what she's talking about. You know what? You ain't thinking about what you did yesterday. But when we look at people, even though you know you might have did something to me and I said I forgave you, we don't went on, there's still some things in my heart, some blemishes, some wrinkles, some spots of, I remember when Shanae didn't answer my call, you know, about 5 years she was acting funny, you know, you know, but that's how we are when we look at people. So I'm glad that Janine said that, because that is true. Wish them well. Ask God to remove all that gunk out your heart about that person. Be pure. Don't be trying to post stuff on Facebook and trying to get their attention. I'm moving on. I done did
right.
No, honey.
Girl, man, go about your business.
Good.
Right.
Yeah. Wish them well. Look, God, I pray for them. I wish them well in their relationship. Have mercy on God. Bless them. I wasn't the right person, but bless them to find the right person, Father. In the name of Jesus. And when you do well to people and you wish well on people, good things come to you. Amen. I believe that. Yeah.
I believe that. That was good. So the last one. So first we're saying be aware of who you are, what you want, and confident. Be aware of who you are and of what you want. Make sure that, and be willing to make it known from the gate, period. Make sure your morals, your values, and your faith line up with the person. If it don't, that ain't your person, okay?
Right.
And then the last one that I was saying is that, and I think this mostly applies to women, because I don't know, I feel, because men, they got just so many options. I need a man to come on this show. Do we got some Kingdom brothers that want to have a conversation? Because I need to talk to y'all. I need to going on, okay? But
right.
Men have so many options that I feel like they don't necessarily put up with or deal with the same type of challenges that women do. I think women feel that there's a shortage, right? We feel that a shortage for several reasons. And so women are willing to, once they connect to somebody, they try to hold on to that somebody in fear of not having anybody, because there's culture says, and I think that's where culture and kingdom don't meet. Because culture says, oh, there's 25 women to one man. And yeah, that may be the statistics, but if God has designed you to be a married woman, he already knows who that person is for you. So you don't even got to go through that whole scientific thing. Like, it's already bad. It's just a matter of you guys getting to that point in time in God's world where you need to come together. But anyway, I think that women specifically have this problem, but we have to stop, as people, we have to stop dating and trying to marry individuals that have potential. Like, we have to stop trying to date and marry potential. We have to date and marry people who are the people that we desire, period. Because somebody who has potential, when you say a person has potential, you're saying that they have what it takes, but they're not doing what it takes.
They're not there yet.
They're not making, they're not there. They're like half-baked. And at the end of the day, a person having the potential to do something doesn't ever mean that they will, in fact, do it. Or a person having the potential to become something does not mean that they will ever, in fact, become it. So it's like you can't marry on or date on a half-baked. You need the person to be who you desire, period, before you take that next step. And if they're not, then you need to be willing to not set yourself up and realize that that's not your person. Now, that doesn't mean that later on in life that person can't get themselves together or, get to the point where they need to be so that they are that person. But don't waste your time dating them or waste your time begging them to marry you when they're not there yet. Because just like the example of the guy that you used, I'm sure sis was waiting for him to become something, to become ready to be married. And when he was ready, you weren't the one that he wanted to marry. So you waited on potential. And then once he got to the point of who he was supposed to be, which is ready for marriage, you weren't the one that he chose. And you just wasted 4 years of your life. You know what I mean? So we can't do that.
You got to be 100. That person got to be 100. You got to be 100.
Right.
Ain't no 50 to 100. Ain't no 20 to a 70. No.
Right.
You got to be 100, and that person has to be 100. Meaning, you got to be whole, and so do they. And if they are not whole but filled with holes, HOLES, because there's a difference. Then you need to move on. Like you said, maybe years down the road, they might be ready, but they're not ready now. So if you date them now and get with them now, you will just be wasting your time. Just let it go and do like R.C. Blake's wife did. Date other people. Yeah, keep it moving and let it go. If that thing is meant to be, and if it's of God, it'll come back together.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we get with people of things prematurely. So it's not that they may not be the one, but it's just not the time right now.
Yeah.
But we don't want to wait. It's just, I want this now. Well, then God will give you, then you get on in, and then you get suffering all the heartache, the pain, the heartbreak, and all this other type of stuff. And it's like, that wasn't even meant to be. It shouldn't have even been that way. We have to realize that God wants good. He desires good things for
things.
us.
Yes.
Good things for us. He has,
and he does not withhold them from us.
No. But we just have to wait, and sometimes that's a problem.
Yeah.
So you know, but yeah.
That's really, really good. And the point that you made earlier, I had wrote it down before we even started this live, that when it comes to dating or marrying people with potential, you got to realize that people are only going to change when they want to.
Yes.
So no matter how long you sit around waiting for somebody like, oh, he's going to become this, he's going to do this, that person is on no amount of love that you show that person is going to make them change who they are, what they do, until they are ready.
Let me say this, no amount of love and no opening your doors.
None of that. Listen, first of all, that, I don't know, that's where kingdom and culture collide again. That's where it is opposition, because culture says, ooh, girl, you know, give them the bomb sex and that's it. That's all you got to do. Yeah, no, that's not true. Because how many women are, like, how many times have women run around giving up bomb sex and they still single? Like, that's not going to keep them in. You got to have more than that. And there's, and this is, I don't know where I got this from. Maybe the Holy Spirit gave it to me a long time ago, but I've said this before. There is something in a woman that a man needs more than anything on a woman. And I think a lot of times women think that, oh, what's on me? My butt, my boobs, my... You know what I mean? Is what a man needs. Like, no, right. He needs more than that, sis. Like, just like you need more than... and bubblegum. You know what I mean? Like...
Right.
There's more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? But of course, culture and society has sex as the number one thing. And it's like, that is not the number one thing.
You got people around here creating all types of soul ties. They married to all these folks, and then they so jacked up and mad on the inside, and they trying to figure it out. They go into other relationships. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
So we got to keep both doors closed. This door, your heart, and that door.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, especially for women and men of God, that if you are finding yourself in a situation with someone who is asking you, or even like suggestion, or even triggering you, they ain't even asking you to, but just their presence in your life and the things that they do are triggering you to compromise who you are in Christ, or compromise your beliefs, or compromise your faith, or your morals, or your values, that ain't your person. That's not your person. Because the person that God sends to you would not cause you to compromise. If anything, the person that God sends to you is going to build you up, strengthen you, and help you become even more mature in those things, and even better. And then the last thing I want to say before we go ahead and wrap this up is that you talked about wholeness as being important. And I just want to say that wholeness is not about perfection, you know, because even when you do meet the person, that person is going to have their stuff, just like we all are going to have our own stuff. There are some things that you will not be able to grow through, or even navigate, or even mature in, or whatever, or heal from, until you are in a relationship. You know what I mean? There's some things that you have to be in a relationship in order for you to overcome, get through, whatever. So we're not saying that, oh, you have to, when we say whole, you have to be perfect and you have to be all together. No, but you do need to be the person that I'm looking for, period. You can't be a potential person that I'm looking for. We ain't trying to do no half-baked. And I don't think God sends half-baked, because if he did, then there will be a lot of people in relationships right now, but they're not, because there's still work that needs to be done in some areas for some people.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm glad you mentioned that. You're not gonna be perfect when you get into a relationship, when you get into marriage. It's not gonna be perfect, but you do want it to be.
And that's spoken. I know I'm single and I ain't never been married, but she has, so she could say that about the marriage, because she been there. So I just gotta let them know.
Right. But look, my Denise Jones said, right, my husband helped me to see how others viewed me. I was broken. So
I couldn't see her comment. It didn't come up here. I don't know why. But
well, yes, I went into your chat.
Oh, you did?
On your Facebook page, yeah.
Oh, okay. It didn't show up on the restream, I'm saying.
I know.
But Denise, it is. Yes. Some things you're never gonna be able to work through until you do get in a situation, in a relationship. So we're not saying that people have to be perfect, but like you gotta be that person.
Yes. You got to. But that's good what she said, that her husband helped her to see who she was. Times we don't see. But that's good.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Girl, why is my... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sometimes we don't see who we are until, like you said, that's what marriage is.
Yeah. It's like that person could become a mirror for you.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's a good one, a mirror. But as far as being whole, you have to have yourself together before you get into the marriage. Now the marriage will bring some other things because you're coming together with another person. So that's a whole other dynamic. You know what I mean? You're gonna figure out some things. Y'all both are gonna figure out some things about each other within that marriage. But so that's what I'm glad you brought that's what that means. And, you know, you gotta be you gotta be whole, but
absolutely. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. So basically we were talking about knowing if a person is for you or not, and a lot of the things that we shared are really just tips on ways, on indicators that somebody ain't for you. That's mostly what we talked about. So the first thing was, if your morals, your values, and your belief doesn't align with one another, then maybe that's a red flag that you should pay attention to, because morals, values, and beliefs are things that you should not compromise on. Like, yes, I can compromise on whether or not I'm a morning person. I can compromise on what side of the bed I sleep in. I can compromise on what school our kids go to. I can compromise on what church we go to, but I will not compromise on whether or not we're going to church.
Exactly.
I will not compromise on if I'm a Christian or a Muslim or Buddhist, or, you know what I mean? Like, the morals, the values, and the beliefs that we have, if they don't align with the person that we are interested in or who's interested in us, then that's probably not your person. Number two, we talked about being aware of what you want. And not only that, knowing who you are. We talked about that the last live. Knowing who you are, but then also being confident in who you are. Being aware of what it is that you want. Making a list, writing that thing out. And then number three was making it known to the people or persons that you're interested in or that you're dating. Yes. Be confident enough in what it is that who you are, what you bring to the table, what you want from the table. Be confident enough about it that you're willing to express that from the gate, because a lot of times people will wait until they're in a situation, or wait until they'll start dating somebody, and then they'll be like, oh, so what type of woman do you like? And then the woman will try to become the woman that he said he likes. No, if that's not you, sis, then be okay with that. He's just not your person.
Exactly.
And if she is telling you the type of man she likes and you ain't that type of man, she like a man that's good around the house and knows how to fix stuff, and you know that you ain't Bob the Builder, just let her know, like, look, boo, we could pay I'll pay somebody to come build it, but I can't build it. You good with that or not? No, I'm not good with that. Okay, well, you ain't my person. You know, be honest about that. And then the last thing we said is just, you know, the last thing we said is just being in a space where you are not dating or wanting to marry someone with potential.
Yeah.
Just because someone has the potential to be something, that means if you say, girl, he got the potential, that means he ain't it. Or if, sir, and I don't know if men say this or not. I think they do. I've heard men say, yeah, she might be. She got the potential.
Oh, no.
Could be.
Let's ask.
Yeah. Oh, let's ask. We got a man on there?
We got a man on.
All right, sir.
Yeah,
do men marry or date potential? Or is that more common with women marrying potential?
Yeah, Denise Jones said my ex-husband had potential. He was horrible.
That's funny. Look, hence X. Okay.
Look, that's why he the X. That's why he X.
That's why he the X. But yeah, let us know. I want to know. Anybody, even replay viewers, do men, and I'm probably going to post that on my page, do men marry or date or marry women with potential, or is that mostly more common with women?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know. But anywho, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Listen, in our current culture, in our current society, dating is terrible, especially with people in our age range, 35 and up. You know, it's not easy because we are at places in our lives where we have a career, we may have children already, we got some success in other areas, we might got some money in the bank, we may own our own homes, or we may just have things going on in our lives that we feel stable and we want to share that with someone else. And because of it, we get impatient, or we get to a place where that impatience causes us to be willing to let our guards down, to compromise, because we're so feeling like the relationship status is the area where we lack or where we don't have what we want or we need. But what I just want to say and encourage people, like, if you're in that space, just be encouraged. Number one, you're not alone in it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out here that want to be in healthy relationships and marriages, but they're not. And number two, just remember that God has not forgotten about you.
Yeah.
He has not forgotten about you. He hears, he knows your needs. Truth is, the Bible says that God gives us the desires of our heart. And so if your heart's desire is for marriage and you are a believer and you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, I don't believe that God would give you a desire for marriage if he had no desire to see you through that process. And so if you have it, hold on to it and continue to live your life, continue to be free, continue to not let culture, what's that word? Pollute your minds.
Yeah, and just know too,
they out here dating, it ain't right. Go ahead.
Right, and know too, you said God gives us the desires of our heart. I always say that God never put actions before commands, because that's what people go by. God said, hey, give me the desires of my heart. Yeah, but did you see that verse before that said, if your ways are pleasing before me?
That's what I said. Yeah,
you know,
you have a relationship and you know him.
Yeah, you got to do some work.
I think it's important to highlight with that God gives us the desires. It's not that the desires that we just created on our own. Like if a desire is in your heart, maybe that's from God. The desire for marriage, maybe he placed it there because he knows that that is his plan for you, a part of his plan in your life. So fret not. You know what I mean? It's not like he's seeing you, desiring marriage and like, I don't know what she want that for. Maybe he's not that. I don't know. She ain't that girl. Nobody want her. No. Or nobody don't want him. He raggedy. No. If he put it there, maybe if he put it there, then maybe he plans to give it to you. Is what I'm trying to say.
McKinley he said it's more common with women. Men only see, not all, the outer appearance, not the potential.
They ain't even trying to see the potential. Okay, look, we don't need potential. What you shaking my head. Wow, I think that'll be a great conversation. McKinley, we're gonna have to have you on the show, sir, and because we need some Kingdom men to come up here and chat with us, because I have questions. I want to have a conversation that talks about men be knowing. Because men be knowing what they want. They be knowing who they want, how they want, when they want it. And the women don't be knowing. But men be knowing.
Yes. And he has an awesome testimony. That's actually my brother and sister. But so they have an awesome testimony about how they got together. I think he would be perfect for the show.
Yes. We're gonna need to bring him on here. I'm gonna hit him up because we're all friends on Facebook, I believe.
Yes.
From the thing that the thing that they did at your church.
Yes.
Yeah, the panel discussion. So yeah, I'm gonna have to hit him up and see if he'll be willing to come on one of the shows. And when he comes, you're coming back with him. So just so you know. Look, we might just make you a staple on here, okay? You'll just be a co-host. But look, thank you so much.
Yay.
For joining me. And I always try to say, oh, I'm gonna make it like we're gonna do 30, 45 minutes. Talk too much. Way too much.
Look, that's real communication.
That is real. That's the over communication that you need in relationships, right? But yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that commented. I don't know what is going on, why I cannot see the comments, but I appreciate y'all for being here. And please share, please comment. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Feel free to share. Listen, if you have a topic or something that you would like to discuss surrounding a kingdom conversation, this is a platform that I'm creating, but it is not just for my voice, okay? I want other voices to come and let's talk and let's build and let's encourage each other in the Lord, because we need it. So if you have a topic, if you want to have a conversation, and if you want to do it on this platform, holla at your girl. I'm so open. Send me a message, leave me a comment, whatever the case, and we can get this going. One of my good friends, I'm just gonna put this out there because I cannot wait. One of my best friends from New York is she's one of my best friends. She is one of my best friends, but my other best friend won't like me saying that. But whatever. I hope my other best friend don't.
You can have several best friends.
They're gonna be mad at me, girl. But one of my best friends from New York is gonna come on, and we're gonna talk about homosexuality and Christianity. She has a testimony, y'all. When I tell y'all that, it's just like out of this world. But I just love her, and I love what God has done in her life, and I love how she is just so open and just so wanting to just have this conversation with me about Christianity and homosexuality. I know, me being a believer in the beginning of my faith journey, I really struggled with understanding that and having my own judgments and thoughts and all of that kind of stuff. But over the years of learning and growing as a believer, and just my friends that I have and people that I love that have chosen to be in a homosexual lifestyle, like, I really struggle with figuring out how to navigate that. And God has taught me a lot and grown and matured me a lot in that. And I really want to have this conversation with her because I think she has so much to say and can give so much perspective to something that so many people still are just don't understand. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I think we're going to have her in December. But she don't know yet, but I'm gonna try to move it up because I want to talk about it now. I don't want to wait. But anyway, in the meantime, we're here every month, second Saturday of the month, 11 a.m., having Kingdom Conversations. Again, I'm Shanae M. Artist. This is my girl, Rashonda B. If you would like to join us, if you would like to have a conversation, you would like to be on this platform, hit me up, let me know, and let's make it do what it do.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. You got anything you want to add?
No, it's just a privilege being on here, and I'm definitely looking forward to that conversation with your best friend too, because there is a lot of things going on. I think in a sense that's kind of what, it's kind of got church divided. Let me just say church organization divided, because we are the church. But with that, and people not really understanding. So I would love to hear her take on that. Yeah. And Denise Jones said she can't wait to hear that too. So
yes, look, I'm gonna call her tonight and be like, "Girl, can you come on?"
Look, it's hot. Mike, you need to come next month,
right? Because I done told the people they want to hear what you got to say. Okay, so I need you to get it together, girl. Okay, yes, I'm gonna call her tonight. Seriously. Yeah. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you, Denise. Thank you, McKinley. Thank you, everybody that has watched and joined. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And Rashonda, you're just a staple here. So let's just say that and let's move on with our lives. All right.
I'll come back. We love y'all.
Yeah, you'll be back. That's for sure. Bye, y'all.